I
would
don't
be
know if you
good.
saw it the other day, but the someone in Queensland, I don't know if it was a health minister or someone, it was, he shared his story
Yeah,
online. I don't know if you saw that. And then you
I
had,
don't think I did.
he grew up with I think his mum had schizophrenia or bipolar or something. And he shared the story and everyone's going, how brave and that. But you see the
Yeah,
comments, I had a similar thing, I had a similar thing, I had a similar thing. You look at their
really.
profile, it's all from people who are age 50 to 60. So it's quite
Yeah,
interesting for me because there'd be people in parliaments or stuff now of significant, let's say, influence and wealth who would have had a similar situation,
really.
and you never hear anything about it, or there's nothing prioritized towards it, which for me is quite baffling. I don't know if it's a
Totally.
generation or it's something they're just too embarrassed to share, even if they're a bit older and a bit more mature. I just think it's quite strange
Yeah,
because statistically you would know there would be a significant number of people in those positions or whatever who would have had a similar
yeah,
experience in some sort of way.
definitely. We know that at least, or around about a quarter of children under 18 years in Australia
Mm.
have at least one parent or guardian who has a mental illness. And that doesn't include substance use disorders, that statistic. And it also doesn't include families that kind of don't recognize that that's what's going on. Probably doesn't include families where a parent tends to be fairly anxious or a bit low, but doesn't really meet criteria for a mental illness. So there are things that, me too, it baffles me that this isn't more of a thing. Every time I go back to that statistic, it's like it's a quarter of people,
Mm.
and that's only under 18. So yeah, when you take into account young adults and older adults, it's a massive number of people. It's not an us and them thing either. It's a we, because it's so common. But yeah, I think it has been really heavily stigmatized, and layers of that are coming off. But
Mm.
and if you want to be idealistic, you'd say that there wasn't the stigma anymore. But when you think about, when I think about sharing my story, I have to consider what I do consider. What will people think of me when they know this about me? What will they think about my family? Will they judge my family? Will people judge my dad for taking his life? And there are people who do, and
Mm.
that's I have to put that on the line and consider those things. And that's, I guess, some evidence of there still being stigma, even for someone who's really comfortable talking about it,
Mm.
relatively speaking.